on behalf of Vasavya Mahila Mandali, feel immensely delighted to welcome you all to the panel discussion on reforming of maintenance laws. Today we have with us our esteemed guests, celebrated politicians, social activists, advocates and bureaucrats. Mr. Kesineni Srinivas, Honorable Member of Parliament, Andhra Pradesh. Mr. A. Raja, Honorable Member of Parliament, Tamil Nadu. Dr. Fauzia Khan, Honorable Member of Parliament. Ms. Archana Mittal, Dr. Kirti, Mr. D. Chakrapani, IAS retired. Ma'am Tripti Singhal Somani, Mr. Sharvan K Giri, Advocate, Bombay High Court. So now we formally begin with today's event. Let me introduce Archana Mittal. She's not here with us. She will be joining us through Zoom. She's an advisor to Vasavya Mahila Mandali. She is a certified therapist and counselor. She has applied her networking, communication and liaison skills majorly to better the life of less privileged, especially women and children. She is a survivor of domestic violence. An insider provides free counseling to women in distress and victims of domestic violence. Archana co-founded Mission Anganwadi, a civil society organization to restructure and strengthen Anganwadis. Archana holds honorary advisor positions with Health Mind Online Limited, a Singapore-based social enterprise for mental well-being. So now we would be connecting her through Zoom.
Yes, Ajay.
Hello, Archana, can you hear us?
Our esteemed panelists, today we are gathered here to talk about, discuss about reformation of maintenance laws. Let me first speak a little about our organization, VMM. It's an acronym of Vasavya, that is Vastavikta Samdrushti Vyaktitvam. It's a 54-year-old women-led secular NGO. The thematic areas of work of VMM has been health and nutrition, SDG 3, education, SDG 4, livelihood, SDG 8, gender-based violence, SDG 5, and environment, which is cross-cutting across all the verticals on which we are working. During our work since last 50 years, what we have noticed, there are many challenges on all levels for women empowerment. Like an individual woman, when she comes to us, she has lowest self-esteem on which we work. There is a fear of facing stigmatization on the situation she is in. Then there is a family which has patriarchal mindsets, where girls are seen as liability.
Ma'am.
And there is all the time. Yes?
Archana ma'am, can you please change the slides also and make it a full screen thing?
I have already changed the slide.
No, we are still on the first one. Let's see.
What one? So we are at the slide 3 now. Can you see thematic areas versus SDGs?
No, ma'am. I think you have to stop sharing once and then share your screen again. Because we're stuck at slide 1. Yeah. Just share it once again, same process. Share your screen with the slides.
Archana, shall we do from our end?
Just a second, Dr. Kirti, and just doing it from this side.
Okay.
Yes, you can do it from your end. Now, can you see?
No, we can't see. RJ will help you. Just show the screen. Okay?
Yes. Yes, now it's visible. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So
can you make it a full screen? Yes. Perfect.
This is better? Vanshika. Hello, Vanshika?
Please continue, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So the challenges a woman faces is on all levels. Individually, she has low self-esteem and she has a fear of facing stigmatization, the situation which she is in. From family side, she faces mindsets which is against her empowerment. And from the community, there is always a preference for son, where daughters are unwanted because of the self-centered society and there is a deprivation of values and ethics. But when she goes to the system to seek justice and a dignified life, there the challenges are in the policy gaps, implementation and efficiency of all the laws which she is facing. There is lack of monitoring and there is total lack of sensitization towards her gender. See slide 5. So VMM initiatives have been very crucial in uplifting the status of women. VMM has the Mahila Mitra, which is a women's social initiative, has been very successful. It has been launched in 5 zones under 20 police stations, where the knowledge has been given, building on laws. Gender sensitization has been done amongst boys and men, and they are taught saying no to violence. VMM also works in counseling, mentoring and empowering women on all accords. VMM started a campaign. The object of this campaign was getting million minds together to develop a platform to build global community to support survivors of domestic violence, women and children. More than 50 researches have been done till date and the documentation has been done to prove the work what VMM has been doing. Now, seeing what happened during COVID times, we saw DV cases had increased and victims were left without support because of locked up in their homes. We also saw that courts were burdened because of these domestic violence cases. VMN took an initiative to understand the challenges and find solutions from their end. A pan-India study was conducted and a research report was published. This study report has data from districts and high courts, interviews from judiciary and other experts, and suggestions were taken from victim and survivor too. This study report can be seen on the website of Vasavya Mahila Mandali, but the crucial point which came out from this study report was out of 3,70,800 maintenance cases filed pan-India in 2 years, that is from 2018 to 2020, only 41,934 execution petitions were filed. The genesis and the premise of this study is that despite the provision in laws, women continue to struggle to receive maintenance. The study also highlighted the issues, challenges faced including legal, financial, societal, family and health. Now what does the law say? It's a very important law for getting relief in courts for women. It is section 125 of CRPC. The said section is a measure of social justice and is specially enacted to protect women and children. The said section is read as under 125 CRPC, Order of Maintenance of Wives, Children and Parents. Apart from that, a public petition was done on a platform which garnered 84,000 supporters. This platform is known as change.org, which showed that there is a dire need for reformation of these maintenance laws. Now, the suggestions which came after the study was concluded that Maintenance Act to be framed by aligning different sections of various laws such as 125 CRPC, the Prevention of Women from Domestic Violence Act, family laws of various religions to bring in uniformity and speedy disposal of cases. Again, we also noticed that there was a discrepancy in data as most of the cases were not lodged with police stations or not. The women don't come out of their homes to even say that they are being domestically abused. So, to enhance the accountability and to give a direction to policy level changes, DMF suggests that a national registry of domestic abusers and offenders be created at the national level. Another suggestion which came from the insights of people we talked from judiciary and officers and from bureaucrats was streamlining of alimony, interim maintenance and final settlement procedure was crucial. We also got suggestions that existing one-stop centers, domestic violence cells, legal cell authority and Swadhar homes to be brought under one roof to have better coordination with police and achieve seamless issue resolution. Again, to combine all these suggestions, it was seen that a well-coordinated monitoring system to be set in place to track the maintenance cases, which should be created by the police department at each police unit to ensure better focus on issues of summons, warrants and follow-ups. From the government side, a fund should be created by Government of India to support women fighting maintenance cases, as in most of the cases, women were financially deprived, so they had no means to carry their legal battles in the court of law. Seeing the gap in the data registry, VMM came up with a technical tool and has developed at a prototype stage. This technical tool will help us create National Registry of Domestic Violence Offenders, which will store real-time data, which will help in strengthening the system and policy level changes, which can be used eventually in courts of law, aiding fast delivery of justice. Now, we are gathered here under the esteemed panelists to discuss about this private member bill. With reference to this above report, private member bill is listed for introduction in Lok Sabha by Shri Srinivas Nani, Honorable Member of Parliament, Vijayawada Lok Sabha. This panel discussion is to create awareness around the bill, the need to amend, strengthen the maintenance laws, helping the justice delivery system, leading to giving relief to women in distress due to marital discord. And with this, I humbly bow down to our esteemed panelists and guests, and I really thank Dr. Preeti Bolineni, Vasavya support team, Gulram Ramanujaya, P. Subhashini and K. Vijaya in creating this report and helping us through and through to come to this point where we are together to find solutions to the problem we are facing. Thank you so much. Vanshika, please take over.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to call on stage Ma'am Tripti Singhal Somani to share her thoughts on empowering women, breaking the barriers. Tripti Singhal Somani is a social entrepreneur at heart focused on SDG goals and ESG. She started Womennovator in 2015, a social impact incubator and platform to foster women entrepreneurship. She has progressive experience in profit and non-profit organizations, both large and small, medium-sized enterprises, including business and financial advisory for various organizations such as PwC, Grant Thornton, GT, and World Bank. She is a CEO of KGS Advisors, a financial advisory firm. We welcome you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite her to share her thoughts on the same.
Professionals, entrepreneurs, and social activists. As Womennovators, our Bharta encompasses all the facets of a woman's life: economic, social, emotional, cultural, political, and society. Womennovators, as the name suggests, symbolizes women as an innovator, as trailblazer in the society. Today, our Kutu has over 10,000 dedicated people working relentless across 5 nations and 100 cities presenting a journey. Tripti Shindal Somani believes that the UAP's collective approach will help us solve complex societal challenges. Hashtag social innovation, hashtag Womennovators.
Thank you so much, and I'm really honored that I'm being, like Ma'am said, be the second drop today to work together and bring a change which we all need. So this is Tripti Somani, and thank you all for your kind attention. First of all, I would like to compliment Kirti Ma'am for thinking about this and working so hard to work on the reformation of maintenance law. At Womennovator, we believe that, one of our friends sitting there, we recently spoke and he's working on Agni project, is that initiative to make women financially independent is the goal. Because if they are financially independent, then the whole struggle which we are facing today, because we have nowhere to go if we are not. Specifically, somewhere in North, we are completely dependent on the resources of our husbands. And we are quite compassionate and forgiving. So, but of course, I'm not a feminist. So I also, when we talk about this reformation, would also like to, work upon how this can be misused as well. But definitely the whole idea of accelerating and supporting the maintenance law and making sure the initiative is, we push on the time bar initiative which ma'am is pushing, we are able to do. But I will again bring back about the initiative of Womennovator. We are very, very focused on bringing revenues in hands of women. All are women contributing few hours of their life towards the growth of the country. Instead of raising 1 kid or 2 kids, at least raising 10 more, so that their creativity, which is too good, they are multitask. I think we are born with doing multitasking. We also are, all the project leads our women toward improved place. If she is an entrepreneur, she has to make sure she is on a better, from a startup stage, she's on MSME, and then from MSME, she's a big corporate. If she's a social activist, getting her the right presentation to go and pitch in front of the people who can make bigger choices, better choices, we push them. If you are a leader, then how that leader can raise its voice in a well articulated manner is what our organization, with help of 10,000 plus mentors who are male and female, are working towards. Our programs like incubations and acceleration, which we are working with big corporates like Amazon, Ernst & Young, Google, we are trying to make sure that women are getting that corporate tie-ups as well. Like recently, if you see, we have Amazon has partnered with us to make sure 200 women in next 3 years are on the global platform of Amazon from India. So these kind of tie-ups with my being a chartered accountant and the experience of working with PwC, Grant Thornton, with my own CA firm, which is a 50 years old CA firm, I felt that market linkages is definitely something I would like to focus and collaborate. If Renu is sitting here, she is working so hard on the ground in scaling women. If I can make sure those scaled women can go to a bigger and a better market at the right time instead of just vanishing, working so hard. So that's what I think Womennovator is all about, collaboration. We don't create, we co-create. Today we will go to different cities of India, we will look for some existing organization, work with them together. It's always good to see 500 logos together because we are doing it as volunteers. We, I think, are destined to volunteer, but I think all of us have to volunteer so that we have a better world to work and achieve a common goal. I'm just coming from Startup 20 and Civil 20, and I think the whole idea was, one is, of course, to be rich, to have money. The other is to have compassion in abundance. So I think we have to work on both the aspects, making money and being as compassionate as possible and work together for one future. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Women's safety, protection, maintenance, widowhood, health and nutrition. Dr. Kirti provides technical support for Andhra Pradesh Police in facilitating sessions and curriculum on gender sensitization. Mahila Mitra has capacitated about 10,000 community women to become change makers and work in their locality and sensitized police to work for women and girls with sensitivity. More than 3,000 women voluntarily working in communities make Andhra Pradesh a safe state for women. Dr. Kirti is on so many committees with prestigious institutions. Dr. Kirti is awarded and recognized by various organizations, and few to mention are Best Citizen Award by Vijayawada City Police 2017, Guinness Book of Records, Wonder Book of Records Australia. Dr. Kirti is not only a role model, but a coach, mentor, guide for young girls and women who really are seeking support and help. So now I would like to invite Dr. Kirti to the platform. Thank you. Dr. Kirti will be the moderator for today's panel discussion. Now I would like to call Honorable Member of Parliament Kesinani Srinivas, fondly known as Nani, is an Indian politician from Telugu Desam Party. He is currently serving as a second-term Member of Parliament in Lok Sabha from the Vijayawada Parliamentary Constituency, representing a 1.5 million strong electorate. Mr. Kesinani is hailed by many as one of the most prominent pro-development political leaders across the nation. His endeavor to establish Vijayawada as a top-tier living destination has been applauded by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, and many other central and state leaders alike. Mr. Nani partnered with Tata Trust and started a first-of-its-kind health insurance program named Swasthya Kutumbam. Under the program, over 2 lakh rural families of Vijayawada have been insured
for a medical cover-up up to 1 lakh rupees for each family member, and along with telemedicine consultations for patients. With a vision to ensure ease of living in Vijayawada constituency, Mr. Nani has been instrumental in reducing the ailment of chronic kidney disease in his parliamentary constituency, ensured provision of clean drinking water in tribal areas. A private member's bill for enforcement of maintenance contract is also listed for introduction by him in Lok Sabha. His endeavour to reform the archaic law and ensure a strong advocacy for gender equality has been a source of inspiration for many like us present in this room today. So I would really like sir to come and join us for the panel discussion. Now I would like to invite Honourable Member of Parliament Dr. Fauzia Khan. She is a member of Rajya Sabha and a well-known educationist and politician from Maharashtra, India. Dr. Khan has made significant contributions to the field of education and has been a passionate advocate for women's empowerment, social justice and equality, and has raised these issues in the parliament through her interventions. She has also held several key portfolios in Maharashtra state government, serving as the Minister of State for School, Education, Women and Child Development, Cultural Affairs, General Administration, Information and Public Relations, Minorities Development and Protocol. Dr. Khan has dedicated her life for improving the lives of underprivileged section of society through education and social reform. I would like to invite Dr. Khan to join us for the panel discussion. Now I would like to invite Sri D. Chakrapani, retired IAS officer, presently holding the honorary positions as advisor for IAE and S2 Tech, a US-based company, and mentor for Jignasa website. He retired from services in July 2011 as Additional Director General, MCR HRDI, Hyderabad. After retirement, he held the post of Director, Center for Innovations in Public Systems and Director General of AP HRD Institute, Government of Andhra Pradesh. He was also Additional and Special Secretary Finance and in charge of monitoring and control of all externally funded projects in Andhra Pradesh. He also has a distinction of working with two Chief Ministers, that is late N.T. Ramarao and Shri N. Janardana Reddy. We welcome you to the panel discussion, sir. Next on board we have Mr. Sharvan Giri, advocate from Bombay High Court. He has been serving in the legal fraternity since last about a decade. He has served in almost all epic courts of India. He has handled and delivered several cases related to matrimonial disputes, anti-corruption laws, money laundering, narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, serious fraud investigations, etc. Understanding clients' requirements and catering cutting-edge legal remedy is his skill. He is a strong believer that no case are small or trivial in nature. Every case has a velocity which needs proper mentoring by upholding the law. We welcome you to the panel discussion, sir.
Good evening, everybody. All the honorable members, and also, as my grandfather used to tell, Jai Insan, Hail Humanity. That's how we are all here on the dais and off the dais. And I'm really humbled to my gratitude to the members of parliament who are able to take time, even though there's a lot of busy schedules, they are able to come over here, and thank you so much. And also all the way Chakrapani Garu and Sharvan Giri flew to this occasion and to express their opinions about this. Today what I am speaking now is as a moderator. It's the voice of thousands and lakhs of women in India. But I am here to represent all of them. Let me start with how the life of the woman. A woman in 20s got married, used to work in Singapore Airlines, and once the marriage is engaged, they asked her not to do the job. Immediately, she had quit the job and used to live in a spacious house and very comfortable. She had 7 pregnancies and now 3 daughters are alive and 4 abortions, as the child in the womb is a female. And when they forced her for 8th pregnancy, she defended and she was thrown out of the house. He is in government service, and since last 5 years, from the palatial house, she moved to a single room tenement with the 3 children, no job, take care of the children, no alimony, even though ordered in the as per section 125 CRPC. Still, she is struggling, going from one court to the other. The children are questioning her. Is it that important leaving us here and roaming to the courts? This is how the situation of not only one woman, but hundreds and thousands of women in India. And maintenance is a grey area where we call it maintenance or alimony as in other countries, but it's unheard voices of the women. 23, they want to bring changes in the existing legislative structures. Is it completed? Effective implementation of legislation by involving civil societies and community appropriate changes in the legislation. Looking through the eyes of the victims and survivors is very, very essential. That was brought out in our 2016 National Policy for Women. I just want to remind that where our national policy for women is, what are the updates, and how we all can join together to make a difference. Because we are not too far with to attain SDG Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, and India is hosting G20, which is a prestigious thing for India, where the women are leading the G20 Secretariat and also chairing it. And regularization of the implementation is also discussed in the national policy. And widespread dissemination of legal rights and human rights. Women's rights are human rights and human rights are women's rights. So this is the time we thought that a think out of box solutions has to come to pave a way for the women to live with dignity and respect, which is need of the hour. So let all the different bodies and stakeholders has to join together voluntarily. Let us contribute our time and services and skills to develop the policy. Just a couple of months ago, we got appointment and met the Secretary WCD at Government of India, and they really appreciate the study report which we have concluded with a report and asked us the suggestions to develop the section 125 of Criminal Procedure Code as a policy, procedures and evidence. What we gave the idea may not be so welcoming for some of the sectors, but looking through the eyes of the survivors, that's what the policy we suggested. And we looked through the suggestions of the honorable members of parliament here and also the advocate and also the senior bureaucrat having lots of experience. So, suggest the measures which can pave the way for the dignity of women. And I heartfully thank Fauzia ma'am to spend her time here and come over here, and Vasavya Mahila Mandali is so much thankful to our Member of Parliament, Keshneni Srinivas Garu, who has initiated to design a private member's bill, and that itself is great. This shows that men are with women. When we send the invitations also, some of the comments which we got is, many men are on the panel. Why we have less women in the panel? So let us meet the men and boys to bring the change in the lives of the women. That is very, very essential. Let us move forward without gender disparities, looking towards the gender equality and reach the Sustainable Development Goal 5. Thank you so much, and we wish to see from many people, the other panelists to come with whatever they speak. Then we will also put forth some of the questions which are from the voices of the women. It's just the print, I only have taken it, but it's all the voices of the women. They told that you asked this question, you asked that question, they asked. So all those questions, I have shaped it, and I am going to ask the panelists also. Thank you so much. Now I request Keshneni Srinivas Garu first to talk about it, because we should appreciate his forward-looking steps in taking ahead for the relieving the women from the struggles of not getting the maintenance. Now I request Keshneni Srinivas Garu to speak.
Thank you, Dr. Kirti, and my co-panelists and everyone present here. So, I will tell you 2 examples from my own life. I lost my father when I was 5 years old, brought up my mother. So, okay, those days we were a joint family, and because of the joint family, we never had that problem with the psychological problem of lacking of self-confidence in growing up in the society and other things. So my mother brought us up, and today I am here just because of my mother. So that is women empowerment in India. And secondly, my sister. Due to psychological problems of her husband, my sister had to take a divorce 5 years after her marriage and 2 children. So we as a family, we supported her. We took a divorce but never asked for maintenance or not even the properties of the husband. We all supported her. After that, she completed her teacher's BPI course, and she became a teacher. She started her own school. We asked her to start in our own city, Vijayawada, but she went to her own village, which is my mother's village. She started a school there. She got the National's Best Award, Indira Gandhi Award for the best teacher in, I think, 2011. So, after that, I believe in women empowerment, seeing these two examples. I tell many people, so every girl child should be brought up in such a way. I have two children, two daughters. Every girl child should be brought up in a manner that at any point of time, even after 25, I see many women, after 25 years of 30 years of marriage life, due to some reasons, might be they moved to their husbands, they take a divorce, many things happen, unfortunately. Even after 25, 30 years or so, if they have the ability to stand on their own, to earn on their own, to empower themselves, then only the women can survive. Okay, the maintenance laws and all that is another part. What can the maintenance law? How much maintenance can I? After finding some level who want the society to be good, they are helping them, but most the law has become very costly. Judiciary has become very costly. So, I appreciate Vasavya Mahila Mandali for such an amazing work they are doing regarding empowerment of women and fighting for the cause of women, especially the underprivileged and also the poor and needy of the society. And many of them, not only women empowerment, they are fighting, they are doing good work in health and education. We are proud of their family actually. Actually, Vasavya Mahila Mandali is not a organization that has come in recent days. Their grandfather, Kirti's and Rashmi's grandfather, Gora Garu, he is a freedom fighter. Both of them, grandfather and grandmother, Saraswati Gora and Goraji, they were both freedom fighters. They fought against untouchability and they fought for the social justice of this country. They are very close to, their Gandhi family is very close to Mahatma Gandhi. Even I think one of the children of Goraji, they were married in the ashram of Mahatma Gandhi in Sabarmati, no? So, that was the family. After that, our Vijayaji, the two-term MP of Vijayawada in 7th Lok Sabha and 9th Lok Sabha, I think. So she's a great woman. I think she started this organization, Vasavya Mahila Mandali, I think more than 50-55 years. So this is all the children, not just from the grandparents to their parents and the whole family. I see Dr. Samaran Garu, the son of, brother of Pujya Garu and son of Gora Garu, who is a very great doctor, very popular doctor, and he is also working for the society. And also the whole family dedicated to the society in and around Vijayawada. They have worked for the society entire lifetime without any self-thing. They are working for the society. And also this, I have read this study on this maintenance laws. They have done a wonderful study. I think every one of you should go through that book. I don't know how many read that book. They have reached out to many sufferers. They have recorded all that thing along with the Symbiosis School of Law. They collaborated with them and they did a lot of research, study. They have bought this thing. So from last 1 year, they are collaborating with my team and me to bring in this bill, the maintenance bill. So we are happy because they have done such a wonderful work on women maintenance, and this country, we worshipped women, we respected women. This is the country where in the Indian National Congress had a woman president even before the world had any such sort of a woman in such a high post. Even today, the so-called the developed country, USA doesn't have a woman president until today. So our country believes in women empowerment, respects women, worships women. So they have worked a lot. Their study is useful for the society. So when they have collaborated with my office to do this private member bill. Actually, we are trying to introduce this private member bill. It is listed now, and it will be, I think, very soon it will be introduced. The contents of the bill are, actually there is this 125 CRPC, some amendments to that. So when the case is running, it is taking a long time for the judgment. In that interim period, the interim maintenance amount should be given to the woman who is fighting for the maintenance, maintenance amount. And the other thing is, the second part, the maintenance amount or the interim maintenance amount, it should be directly deducted from the employer and given to the woman, the wife or the whoever it is, the spouse. And also the other thing, any retirement benefits also should be directly linked to this maintenance amount. And also, you might be knowing, the first person in this country to bring in equal share for both the boy and the girl child, the parents' property, is Mr. N.T. Ramarao. So we have also in that bill put a clause saying that the whatever immovable and movable assets of the husband should be given 50% to the woman who is taking the divorce. That is all in the bill, and we have this is listed for introduction. I think it will be soon introduced. I don't know how many. Very recently, I don't know. I didn't even remember. I don't even remember that any private member will getting passed. But because this is the bill that is the need of the hour, especially for the women who are in the problem of divorce and maintenance. So this will be very useful for the women. So I think and I hope Madam Fauzia Khan also, people like her should be able to impress upon the rest of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha MPs to get this maintenance law bill passed in the Parliament, and might be this should be the bill after many decades getting passed in the Lok Sabha. I hope so. It will be passed. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Dr. Kirti, Dr. Rashmi, Vasavya, Mahila, Mandali, and everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Srinivas Garu. And we understood from your own personal experience that has given you that how important the woman has to be empowered, and even instead of the struggles in the life also, women are the achievers. Women can be an achiever. Thank you so much. And I just want to know, because you told that the private member bill to be supported by all the members of parliament, irrespective of the political parties they are associated. So how do we do that lobbying with the members of parliament?
I think this bill, no one should object. So I think this bill can be easily passed after the introduction. And also, I have realized one thing. In the Muslim law, the iddat, that is, only the maintenance can be given for that iddat period only. After that, the woman is left on her own. I don't know what will happen to that woman. Recently, that triple talaq is banned in this country due to the judgment of the Supreme Court. So even that, I think like the Unified Civil Code, I think this whatever the maintenance law should be a unified law, irrespective of caste, creed, religion. That's my opinion. I think, and my colleague and my co-MP, Madam Fauzia Khan also agree with my point. So I request everyone, I think we will go. We will request all the member of parliaments in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha also to make this bill happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andy. Now I request Dr. Fauzia Khan, Honorable Member of Parliament, to give a few words and also can take forward if any questions are there.
Thank you, present in this hall. First of all, I must congratulate the organization for having arranged a discussion on a very, very important subject. And as a woman, I can say, since as a woman I empathize more with women, obviously, but what I can say is that we have been living in a society for years, for centuries, which is not a just society. It's only after, the 20th century that people have started thinking that if society has to be just, women have to be equal. No woman wants to be above men, but equality is the right of women, and if equality is not provided to women, society can never be a just society. So I'm glad that we are moving towards becoming a just society, and organizations like Vasavya and Womennovators. There are many, many more organizations who want to work in this field so that we can transform this society to a just society, but it's easier said than done. And as we all know, that no matter how many laws we have, unless the mindset of society is transformed, we will never be able to achieve the goal. And it's a global problem. It's not limited to our country. Because here we are talking about maintenance and settlement. But obviously, women are deprived of their rights not only as far as marriage is concerned, they are deprived in every area. And somebody just mentioned that even before the girl is born, she is killed just for being a girl in the womb. So right from there, women's rights are snatched away from them. So it's a kind of situation where every one of us has to come together. And if only women cannot make a difference. It has to be a combined effort of society as a whole, and we need to fight the patriarchal mindset and transform this society into a just one. Now, as ma'am, you spoke about a national women's policy. The policy, what I know of is in 1992, a national women's policy came in, and it was first launched in Maharashtra by Honorable Sharad Pawarji, and then later on it was brought also as a national women's policy. It means that the development or the empowerment of women has to be a wholesome one from all sides, social, political, educational, in every way. And it has to become a government program, because whatever government sponsors has power. And that is why many laws started coming into existence, and many programs and welfares and benefits started going to women. Today we are still talking about toilets. We are still talking about such fundamental things. Sometimes we feel that the circle is going back and round, and we are where we were. But sometimes we feel encouraged when recently I went to felicitate some sarpanchs, women sarpanchs. I realized that these women sarpanchs are highly educated. We saw a transformation I saw in front of my own eyes, because some years earlier when I used to go and meet a woman sarpanch, she would be like a woman who has covered her head and who cannot read and write, and she is not even brought up onto the stage. But now I saw highly educated women whom I was felicitating, and I said, yes, this is a transformation. And how did this transformation take place? It's only because women are brought into leadership roles. In the initial days, men worked for women. In these local self-government sector, where reservation was provided to women, we saw men working and women only the puppets, the dolls. They said they are there, they should hoist the flag and all. So hoisting was done by women, but work was still being done by men, and it still is. But there is a transformation happening because women got a quota, women got reservation politically. And because of this reservation, this mindset of millions, how many years, I don't know, I'm calling millions of years, but yes. So, this can happen when women are brought into leadership roles. Unless that takes place, I don't think this can happen the way we are thinking we should be going forward, because we cannot be entangled with toilets even now. Such basic things, and even to try to save our girl children from being aborted. So we have to move ahead, and even globally, the UN also believes in the theme of putting women into leadership roles. She should be a leader in the family, she should be a leader in the local self-government, she should be a leader equal in number in parliament, in legislative assemblies, in judiciary, in bureaucracy, in every sector of life. Unless we have the numbers, there cannot be a change in the way we are planning to do so. And I think that's where we should move ahead, and that should be the struggle. Right now, it's a very happy situation for India because the BJP government has all the numbers. They don't have to combat with anybody in the parliament. They simply have to bring the bill and it is passed. The way they are passing many bills. So, why is the women's reservation bill not being brought into parliament is the question. We will bring in the maintenance bill, yes, but it's only a small section of the problem that we are facing. You have married women who are left. When we talk about maintenance, we talk about men who can afford or who can be traced, or we know that these are the men, they are salaried, we can deduct their salary. But what about the lakhs of women who are abandoned? In slums, you see almost a second household where women are living alone with their children, and the men have left them and gone, and there is no trace of who this man is. So how will we provide them maintenance? That is the larger issue here. And I think this abandonment, every domestic help, the bai who comes to work in my house to wash my utensils is an abandoned woman. And everybody would agree that whoever comes to your house as a house help is an abandoned woman who is living in a slum with children and managing things on her own. It's such a large canvas. And as you rightly said, things go unreported when we are beaten. Women are beaten, abused, and sometimes when you go and try to save a woman from when she's getting actually beaten by her husband, she says, who are you to interfere? He's my husband, he has the right to beat me. So why have you come to save me? This is the mindset. Now it's a very, very long fight for us. But since we have taken up the baton, I think we are moving forward in the right direction. and one at a time. You can't go all together for everything. But we should have the final goal in our mind. It cannot be just providing maintenance. It cannot be just giving the settlement. We could think about, for the maintenance, if we speak about it, we could think about having a maintenance enforcement agency in place in the nation, so that this agency has the sole mandate of doing just tracing and finding out and managing that. But at the same time, we have these counseling centers in our police stations, and at every police station, I think we have a women's a committee that counsels women before they are taken to the police station to file a case. So these committees can be given the mandate to make a survey of slums and find out how many women are actually living an unsupported life, and trying to help them by tracing where their husband is, so that he can be traced and he can be asked to support these women. And if he doesn't agree to it, then we go in for filing a case. The Domestic Violence Act has these protection officers, and these protection officers, can have a larger mandate of doing so. So we need to have these surveys made. But at the same time, when I'm talking about this larger picture, I would also want to say that if you have to change the mindset, let's begin at the age where it can be changed. In schools, at very young, developing formative age, where we can educate our children about gender, what is gender, and how gender roles cannot be, different. Because in our families, we have got specifically defined gender roles. Men, make a joke. If somebody says that ye ghar mein bartan dho raha hai, to it's a joke. Why should it be a joke? Why should people laugh at it? If a woman can wash utensils, she can wash clothes. What is wrong if a husband does that? This we have to teach the young minds. Gender roles need not be so specific. And why should girls only do the household work and the boys get all the privilege of going out and enjoying themselves and getting, going to better schools than girls? Why this discrimination? All this has to be somewhere in society. It has to be done away with. And we have to begin with educating our young boys in schools. Let them, if the father is beating the mother at home, let the child come and tell the school that my mother is beaten by my father. What a teacher can do, even parents cannot do. So much a teacher has influence over children. But this program has to be, run by the government fully. The syllabus, the curriculum has to include all these things. And only then we can think about changing mindset. So one is that women should be brought into leadership roles everywhere. The other is that we have to educate and make our children aware. And at the same time, we need to educate our women, particularly legal literacy, financial literacy. Ma'am, you just said that if woman is financially independent, she's empowered. But there are situations at a very, very large scale that there are working women, they earn, but they have no knowledge about how their money is spent, how many times the GPF is withdrawn from her salary, what is done, what is the property of the family, or in whose name it is. The woman knows nothing. She has no control over her own earnings. In most families, men don't earn. Nowadays, women are getting more jobs than men. They may be teachers, they may be working as nurses in hospitals, and the man has no job, but he has the job of controlling his wife. Why did you look there? Why did you look this side? At whom did you stare? All this control the man asserts over an earning woman. So it's not as simple as just her becoming financially independent and she's empowered. It's a very, very complex situation, and we need to work from all fronts. I am there with this subject. I am there with you all. You can always come brief us, educate us. What more can we do in policy making? We are all there, and certainly for this issue at least, we will also be with you. If you call us onto the roads, we are there on the streets and the roads also to protest and to fight for the cause of women. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You are going to be supporters for the daughters and sisters of India. That's a great strength to all those who are hearing the live also. They feel so happy.
We have with us Honorable Member of Parliament Shri A. Raja. He is elected as Member of Parliament Lok Sabha for 5 times. He hails from Tamil Nadu. He is Master in Law. He is former Union Cabinet Minister for Communication and Information Technology. Prior to that, he has rich experience working as Union Minister for Rural Development, Health and Family Welfare and Environment and Forest. From 2019 onwards, Mr. Raja is member, Business Advisory Committee, member panel of Chairpersons Lok Sabha, member committee on welfare, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, member standing committee on personal public grievances, law and justice, member committee on subordinate legislation, member general purposes committee Lok Sabha, member consultative committee, Ministry of Defence. Mr. Raja is a writer and has published books. A few to mention are an autobiography of democracy, 2G Saga Unfolds. He has widely travelled the world. We welcome you to the panel discussion, sir.
Just I want to put Fauzia Khan ji, a few questions that during COVID, domestic violence increased as all the outside support had gone. Women are most unsafe in their homes, not reported. Because of patriarchal mindset, people are quite saying it's private matter, but it has to be taken as public social issue, which we can say is a public health issue also. For gender equality, change has to start from home. With no correct data, most don't report. What do you think is the solution for it, and how can we address it on the national level? How can a common woman represent herself on such a burning issue? Her contribution to GDP growth be recognized.
Actually, what I just spoke was covered, most of these points were covered in my words when I spoke. You are right that during the pandemic, there was increased domestic violence, and the world called it a shadow pandemic because so much of abuse was seen. Reporting also was increased during that time, but as you are rightly saying, that reporting is just at the tip of the iceberg. There's so much abuse everywhere, and women don't come out to report. So what can be done about it? As I just said, that unless women are empowered in every way, educationally, socially, politically, the mindset will not change. And unless this mindset is changed, it will remain. Women feel themselves that yes, it's okay if we are beaten. If there's violence, it's okay because that's the right of our husband or the father or whoever he is. So we need to change this, and I think education is one way to do it. Educating the women about their legal rights. They need to first know that they can go and they should have faith in the judicial system. If you consider the amount of pendency in courts, people have started losing faith on this system as a whole. So where do they go for justice? Because they may have go against their families, come out and report or go to the court, but then they lose the family support, and at the same time there is, tariq pe tariq, then when will the end come and they will finally get justice? So this is a very unhappy situation. But I think the easiest way to do it, ma'am, is put women into leadership roles, and that the government can do, and we all should, as women, struggle for the bill to be passed in Parliament, and also ensure that other organizations, other pillars of democracy like judiciary, like the bureaucracy, also give equal opportunity to women. Countries of Latin America which have given the quotas to women, country like Rwanda has got 61% women now in their parliament. A country like UAE, the United Arab Emirates, they have got 50% women in their government. So many countries are ahead of us. And we are patting our backs by saying that so many new women have come this time, when we are only 14%. The average of the global average is 25%. We are only 14%. And we were already 5% when India became independent. So we just moved 9% in 75 years. And that's very shameful. I think more women need to come into these leadership roles, even in corporate sector. Because even in the corporate sector, you see that in the topmost positions, you see very few women. So unless this justice is meted out, it's very difficult to fight this menace of domestic violence.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I request the Honorable Member of Parliament, Ms. Raja Garu, to talk a few words, then followed by the questions to take.
Dignitaries on the dais, dear friends, thank you for the opportunity that has been conferred upon me by the forum. I think that I want to recall the genesis and mechanism development of the women's rights by means of constitutional and statutory measures. Today we are discussing how we are going to improve the efficiency and delivery system of Section 125 CRPC in terms of maintenance. But let me go back a little bit. How the rights of the woman has been inculcated and was denied later, and how it was brought. In 1952, when Dr. Ambedkar, who constructed the constitution of this country, wanted to pilot the Hindu Code Bill, under which divorce, adoption, inheritance, and all other rights for the woman had been incorporated. He wanted to make a complete legal change for the women's right in 1952. The bill was piloted to the parliament. The Prime Minister was Nehru. Seems to be who was called as agnostic. He did not have any faith on the religion. He was agnostic. He was rationalist. But he used to love only human approach. So impartially he admitted politically and administratively that the bill that was brought by the Dr. Ambedkar is going to give a very big revolution in the domain of women's rights. But see the history. The so-called people, those who are having in those days religiously strong faith, if you are giving equal right to women, the entire social structure will be demolished, and the women will be, if the women are given free hand, then there will be no moral value for the society and the family, and most of the women may be leaving the husband. by empowering the property and others. This was the mind setup, including Rajendra Prasad, who became later the President of India, and Shyam Prasad Mukherjee, and Tandon, and so many leaders. Those who are having very deep-rooted, rotten Hindu faith values. Ultimately, Dr. Ambedkar was forced to resign. I made constitution, Ambedkar said, I made constitution. The country is being run on my constitution. I am the law minister, but still I was not able to pilot my bill and I was not able to succeed. Then my conscience is not permitting to me to continue as the minister. Then he resigned. That made a big noise in the country. Later, Nehru felt the idea to maintain equilibrium and equality in the society with the gender parity with all rights absolutely is essentially necessary. The Hindu Code Bill was fragmented into three pieces: Hindu Women's Rights Act and the Adoption Act and Maintenance Act. All these things came into existence later. But still, the right of property and inheritance was not given even by Nehru. That was not accepted by all senior Hindu leaders in the Congress. Because if you are giving right in the property, then the brothers and sisters used to fight. Not only brothers and sisters, she may not give respect to the husband. This is the apprehension that was in the mind of the people in those days, those who are having very deep-rooted religion, faith. I am very proud to stand before you. I came from DMK because 1952 Ambedkar was defeated in the parliament. In 1989, that too I have to say very specifically, when Ambedkar resigned and came out to meet the press, I have been defeated. Nehru was the prime minister. I am having no grievances with Nehru, but Nehru cabinet did not permit me to pass this bill. But I am confident. I may not be in the earth. I may die. One day this bill will be passed by somewhere else, by some gentleman who is having longest political innings. Alas, 1989, my leader Dr. Karunanidhi enacted such a law in the assembly first time in India that in the family, girls, women are having equal rights. Then it was adopted in 2004 or 7 by UPA government to give the rights. So this is the genesis and mechanism how the women's right initiated and developed, and today we are discussing how to improve it. In spite of that, today I met the Chief Justice of India and other two judges in the committee of the Committee for Law and Justice. We discussed about the women's rights. Even Chief Justice of India is really concerned about the women's right, about the family courts. The family courts are full of loaded with cases and solutions were not being delivered in properly. So, we are having so many systems. We are having so many challenges. In those days, women were pushed to reside within the house. Now they got educated, they got job, they wanted to have equal dignity, they want to have equal rights, and they want treated to be properly and with parity with husband, with brother. The ego starts. No, you are a woman. The moment ignition starts, it will lead to divorce. But this is also one among the right of the woman. Unless and until males are taught properly, you have to treat your wife, your sister on par with your brothers and fathers. Unless and until this teaching is inculcated in the mind of the people, whatever it discussed by way of law, it will not be workable. See, untouchability was abolished way back in 1956 when Constitution came into existence. But how many untouchability activities are being done? So bringing legislation is one thing. Keeping the mind with good ideas and progressive approach is other thing. So we are discussing 125. So many mechanisms have been done in law. Of course, so many judgments were pronounced. All these pronouncement judgments are encouraging the women's right. In course of time, we want to say, one day I want to dream as a student of Dravidian school that this profession must be treated as redundant. On the contrary, male has to file an application for maintenance from the wife. Such a thing has to come. So, however, in order to reach that position, we are fighting for the women's right. Dravidian movement is the pioneer in the whole India. Even voting right was given by USA and UK later. Only in Tamil Nadu we gave women's voting right in 1920s. Later it was given by America. So let us work together. Legally I am aware what are the provisions, what are the lacunas available in the provisions. If any questions being asked, we can discuss together. I am not competent to give exclusive answer to you. I cannot claim myself a legal expert. Still, we want to work together. We will be with you. Our party will be with you. Let us march together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. How can we reduce or avoid a multiplicity of litigations for women seeking relief from courts, lower to sessions, sessions to High Court, High Court to Supreme Court, which is going a lifetime of the productive age of the woman, and also her children are also suffering.
So the question is very legitimate because two options are available to the deserted wife to get maintenance. She can invoke 120 CRPC under criminal law, and same time he can file a suit for maintenance in the civil court also. I think that now 125 is preferable because the proceedings will be shorter than the civil side. But when it goes for appeal, again and appeal, the legal procrastination on par with civil cases, it will go up to Supreme Court. There must be a finality. Finality means then we have to constitute a separate family court exclusively for this purpose, with full authority, not a single judge, a judge from judiciary, and a activist of the women forum, and the district collector of the locality. This body can be created through the statutory measures, and statutory power can be conferred upon that once the decision are awarded by this forum, a judicial member, a executive member, and the local women activist. Even if it is necessary, put a police officer. So this body can be created by a law going to be enacted either by legislature or by the parliament. Then it will work. Then you have to say any award given by this forum will be final. The only one appeal will be available to the High Court. Finish it. Because legal interpretation does not wait for Supreme Court. Supreme Court under Article 226 or 32 is meant for interpreting the Constitution and other valid laws. This is a matter for the family. So close it. See, morality must end when the legality want to put a full stop. See, suppose I am getting 1 lakh rupees from you and executed a promissory note. Morally, I have to bound to pay 3 lakh not only until my death. Even after my death, my son or daughter, morally, I have to say, please pay 3 lakh to the madam because I borrowed it. But on the contrary, after 3 years, the promissory note expires. Law says don't pay. So, you have to draw a line between the moral value and legal value to find the finality. You cannot go endless simply because you are having moral value. So, between the moral value and legal value, draw a line which will give a finality to be fair for both parties. So that create a quasi-judicial forum with the judicial officer, have a finality. If you want to give only one appeal, that should be the final.
Thank you so much for the think out of box solution, because we have seen that child welfare committees, where many situations, even during the COVID time, when it came, child welfare committees worked and we are able to get the justice within 3 days. That's what the beauty of those things are. So, but everything to work out is very essential. And one more question I want is, the current maintenance laws are time bound, like 60 days. Many women ask us, even we are not getting interim within 90 days. Normally, people are not doing anything and they are being penalized and court punishments like that. But when the court itself are not bounding to the time-bound nature, then what kind of a procedures are there to question the court itself? Do we have any system?
No.
If not, how to create
I
it?
think I have come across, I'm not able to name out properly, I have come across some of the countries where award has been passed with the judicial forum. The party is not performing its duty as per the direction of the court. Then the court will pay from the fund which was allotted by the government to the court. Later, the court will confiscate the property of the man who did wrong.
Oh, so great.
So such a similar law must be removed. The amendment must be brought. Some consolidated fund with precedent is available now. Like that, each and every judicial magistrate, those who are exercising section 125, must be provided some funds. In case of default of the husband or the dissented wife, the court has to pay. Immediately, criminal action has to invoke to confiscate the property or to deem under jail.
Thank you so much for, as you are on the Committee for Law and Justice, I think that we have recently submitted how the amendment should be from a survivor-centric point of view. The same suggestions came and they even named it as like maintenance, inquiry and monitoring forum or anything like committee. With a quasi-judicial powers, with a judge and a woman activist like that. Maybe those things we will also share to the others, and others also can think of those things as we have your numbers. Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Chakrapani Garu, who is a senior IAS officer, more than, I think, 3+ decades experience in the bureaucracy and administrative system. So how do we bring the changes and what it should go? Can you please talk?
Thank you very much, Dr. Kirti Garu, and very distinguished panel members and friends. I'm indeed grateful to Dr. Kirti for giving me this opportunity of being present here. Though I do not have a very detailed exposure to the problems that Dr. Kirti has documented in her report in a very exhaustive manner. All that I would like to submit for your consideration is there are two ways of looking at this issue. One, of course, Honorable Lady Member of the Parliament, Mrs. Fauzia, has said that this is part of the story. There are larger issues relating to property, employment, equity, gender sensitization, etc. I fully agree and endorse her views, and also as pointed out by Mr. Raja and the other members here. I would submit that it is a little surprising that the maintenance relating to women is mentioned in the CRPC. I think it should have found a place in almost every law dealing with the various welfare programs of the government. So I think probably we need to do a little bit of work, and as you know, a lot of work in this regard is to be done at the state level. The Parliament, the Government of India perhaps will come into picture a little later. That's number one. Number two, a lot of archaic procedures relating to the administration of justice delay these matters. That's why I think there is a very strong need and desire to replace these archaic provisions with some kind of a quasi-judicial administrative processes. And one of them, in a very limited manner, I would like to submit is spread as much as possible the online proceedings. See, we have today a system where very detailed affidavits are filed, counters are filed, then the hearings take place, postponed. All this, I think, should be replaced with a Zoom proceeding or an online proceeding where everything is available on record. What are we looking at in terms of documents, in terms of witness, in terms of evidence? We are looking at the written part of it, forgetting the oral submissions made by individuals. So my request would be, to the extent possible, if and when these monitoring committees are constituted, they should take up proceedings online, because we have extensive online network available in most places of this country. We have almost 2 lakh gram panchayats connected with the fiber, optic fiber. So I think it will be very, very necessary that these are replaced, these archaic, time-consuming, in a way very insensitive proceedings are replaced by online proceedings, and they're completed in a matter of time. And the composition suggested by Mr. Raja, I think, is an admirable composition, and this can be further accelerated in terms of the online proceedings. A lot of online proceedings do take place in criminal law, economic offences. Most of the economic offences today in Europe are online. So I think it should be possible for the family courts as and when they are set up. The second thing is, these monitoring committees or whatever committee you have, are already Lok Adalats are there. They need to be proactive. If there is a declaration by a court or a judgment given by a court, it should be the responsibility of the committee to prepare the data and take it up in a proactive manner till a complaint comes. There is no need for any person to make a complaint. I think it should be possible if you have enough of these committees. I'm sure we have a lot of these judicial officers, retired persons, activists, etc., who can constitute these. If it is an online proceeding, he or she could be, the committee could be anywhere. And it should be their responsibility to proactively collect the data from one server, that is the court server, to another, take up and see whether this particular person is getting the maintenance or not. I think this is what I would like to submit. The third thing is, you see, as all of you have said, maintenance is one aspect. More important is equity, gender equality, etc. And as Mr. Kesineni Srinivas has said, it is Mr. N.T. Ramarao who brought for the first time reservation of jobs for women sometime in 85-86. I was Deputy Secretary to N.T. Ramarao. He was the person who gave a lot of property rights to women. Again, something that was also done in Tamil Nadu. So probably South has done slightly better. And today in Kerala, probably Kerala, as somebody jovially pointed out, I think a reservation of jobs for men will have to be introduced. I think that is a kind of extensive employment that women in Kerala. So that's right. So I think a lot of jobs, perhaps where reservations have been enforced for the last 2 to 3 decades, have been taken by women, and they are. In fact, when I entered service, that's 1976, there was not even one lady employee. Today, almost 50 to 60% of employees in any office, at least in the southern states, are women. So that things are moving. My request would be that courts should really be, I think, giving up their archaic practices. The affidavit, which is supposed to be, it's mind-boggling why so much of paperwork is there in these days when your CPC can be amended, CRPC can be amended, evidence law can be amended, and if you do not have the power to do it in a matter of maybe next 2 to 3 years, introduce them in a very subconscious manner without much of a law. Because I always believe that anything which is not explicitly banned by law can be done by local committees. I always used to say that if it is not explicitly banned, I think it should be done by local committees. Even the criminals are being given the courtesy of being produced through video conferencing. Why don't we allow the women who can work at a place, get into some place where there is a Zoom facility available, participate in the proceedings? So the court can be notified. In fact, the the monitoring committees can sit at the places where they want, and then they can monitor. So I have mentioned these few details because, as most of you have said, we are being governed by archaic, not only laws, perhaps there is a department in Government of India which is charged with the responsibility of identifying and removing those laws which are no longer required. I would also submit, maybe my friend from Maharashtra may not like it, the lawyers should be banned from these proceedings. The lawyers, in fact, there are some laws where the presence of the lawyer is dispensed with. A lot of civil activists or their employees can argue their own grievance. Employees can go to the tribunal and make his or her representation. So similarly, when you have the individual who is directly approaching the forum, the facility of audio-visual facilities are available. Where is the need for a lawyer? There is no great law involved. And particularly when a proceeding is already given by a court. Particularly in those situations where proceedings are available, for executing the proceeding you need another execution petition. I think this is a ridiculous situation. Once a proceeding is issued, it should automatically go into the execution mode, that's all. Why should an individual file an execution petition? I don't understand, as a common man, the logic for a further execution petition where a court has given a decision. So these are some of the very out-of-the-box administrative processes that I would think are relevant. In the meanwhile, it has to be tackled on a short-term and also on a long-term basis. There are enormous possibilities given the onset of technology, emergence of technology. Let me also tell you that the incidence of domestic violence has increased enormously because of liquor consumption. I did a program for compassionate appointments for those who are recruited through the compassionate appointment route in one district. Out of 120 appointments, 75 are those whose fathers drank themselves to death, and they were recruited into government service. This is in Chittoor district, when I was DG of the APHRDI. So I think there's a direct causal relationship between liquor consumption and domestic violence. So I think we need to take a look at it. And perhaps a day is coming when we should ban those, or at least take a declaration from those who are joining government service or public service that they would not take up liquor consumption. I think it's not very difficult. It is certainly possible. I'm sure some of you may have already seen that. So these are some of my suggestions, and I'm willing to take any questions with regard.
Whatever I want to ask, you have covered everything, and also I really appreciate the online procedures are very, very essential, because the woman has to leave their children or take the children, and there's no facilities at the courts. We don't have a child care centers at the courts. So that is very, very essential. When the courts are not child friendly, and to bring the children and expose for these things, how essential it is. So maybe online also we can think of it. Now I request, as Raja Garu has to go for another meeting, we'll request him to take a small felicitation from us. It's all directly from the artisans of nearby Vijayawada. And we always go for fruit bowls only, we never take vegetable, flower bouquets. Come slowly. Yeah. Hold it. Can the VMM and Womennovators team come on to the dais and come, so that we'll have a group photo? Come. Ramanji garu. Mona, come.
This is some wonderful. Okay.
You made it?
From the Dadi dancer of this constituency.
Can you photograph me?
So, I guess this was super.
This is what vegetable diet.
Nice.
Great, sir.
But one thing is, environment is not an It's property rights to equal property.
Let's take all the photographs. Thank you so much.
I also
Yeah, we'll have just last one each. But another 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes.
Talking about the judiciary, I request Sharvan Giri Garu to give a speech and also tell about the solutions, how best we can improve the law.
Good evening to one and all. First of all, my heartfelt thank to Dr. Kirti for giving me this opportunity, and all the dignitaries over here and everybody present over here. The one thing that we are here for today is not something which is very unique or something which is not very common. It is very common in every house. Earlier, when there was no awareness, it was a very rare case. Some used to disclose, some used to never disclose it, which used to lead to something that we never used to think about it. I would like to start, I'll go a little back, but very categorically I will go. There are two instances where family come together in excitement. One is when there is a marriage ceremony. And second, when there is a marriage discord. The first, when there is a marriage ceremony, what do we see? We are Indians, we have a culture. The family, when they go to see a girl, or else a girl family is coming to see a boy family, they just see the qualification of the girl and qualification of the boy, but at that time, one thing that is admired, that is the background of the girl and the background of the boy. This is something which is very common. घर कैसा है, परिवार कैसा है, लड़की कैसी, तीसरा सवाल होता है. So, this is something from where it starts. Now, every marriage, we are here, we are talking about Reformation in section 125, that is maintenance. Maintenance comes once the discord and the dispute has arose between two parties, that is husband and wife, and their family automatically gets involved. Today we are at Constitution Club of India. The first thing that I want to bring to the knowledge, the preamble of the Constitution of India. The preamble first of all says, am I on? I am? So, the preamble, because of the phone, I'll keep it, sorry. The preamble of the Constitution of India says, I'll just take one line out of it. We the people of India do hereby gift this Constitution to ourselves. This is what the Constitution of India says. Nevertheless, let us not roll through each and every article. Article 21 of the Constitution of India says right to liberty, right to equality. Right to liberty and right to equality means today there are certain terms which are being generated by people to create diversified issues. The first thing that is supposed to be taken into consideration, where your country is democratic, the foundation of your country is the Constitution of India. Article 21 says that you have a right to liberty, right to equality. Where comes the word gender equality? We all are equal. We respect our mothers and we assault our wives. Where does the gender equality and Article 21 or maybe the Constitution has been taken into consideration? At the very first, where we talk about the Reformation is supposed to be done in this year of 125. I'll come to that aspect on a very shorter note. First of all, Constitution of India should be made a subject in school. Let the children during their growing years, let them hear, read, learn and understand the foundation of our country. The very highly respectable book that we read and we all are abided by it, we are bounded by it, that is Constitution of India. Where every fundamental right is explained, where parliamentary right is explained, where each and every aspect, all the questions of your life, you will get an answer over there. Now, Article 125. Before I come to Article 125, I would like to demonstrate two phrases. One is a very highly respected Justice K.K. Iyer said in one of his judgment, law is above all. But if something which is larger than law is the life itself is the first step which gives birth to a law. Now in 125, where we talk about maintenance, there are three aspects in maintenance. 125. One, it says, the headline itself says that maintenance is for wives, children's and parents. Let us constrain ourselves within an ambit of 125, what exactly it says. Wife who is deserted, who is not capable of maintaining herself with sufficient means. I underline and I shine a light upon this thing because this is forming a part of this particular section. Second is disabled child, girl child or any child below the age of 18 who is unable to maintain itself, herself or themselves. Third is the procedure. It is a settled provision of law which is not only enumerated but enunciated in CRPC, which is the foundation of criminal law. It says any application made under 125 has to be on an interim basis be decided within 60 days. The interim relief, any person who is aggrieved will move to the court. The interim relief has to be decided within 60 days. This is a settled provision of law which is not being applied or made into application on day-to-day basis in any of the courts of this country. Second, it says once the maintenance is passed and husband is not abiding to the order passed by the court of maintenance, in that case, there can be a distress warrant issued. That is 125 subsection 3. 125 subsection 4 says the law is seeing everybody with an equal eye. Any wife who got an order of maintenance and has failed to abide by the law till the whole process of divorce or getting separated is done, the wife is supposed to and wife gets into any sort of adultery, then in that case the court has direction, court has discretion to reject the order as well. Now this is the settled provision of law. So far in 125, there have been several proposals made to the parliament. There has been several amendments also done. This law was incorporated and got into enforcement in 1974. 1974, the time, era and the situation were way different. Today we are in 2023. Considering that aspect, the word, as I highlighted, the word sufficient means. The sufficient mean clearly denotes on one particular aspect where the females were not allowed to go out of the house, they were not allowed to work, they were not allowed to do something that they like. 1974. And if in that situation they are being deserted out of a matrimonial discord, in that case, they have a right to move to the court for seeking their sufficient means. Today, education is provided to the child. Every child who is born is loved, and there are some unfortunates, those who are deprived of this thing as well. Let us come to the technical aspect of it. We are talking about reformation. The law is good, but it needs enhancement and amendment considering the today's time and today's era. The law clearly says the maintenance has to be provided. The law also says within 60 days the interim relief has to be given. The law says if it has not been abided, then in that case the person can make an application to the court and a distress warrant can be issued against the person. Now, distress warrant means this provision says 1 month police custody, 1 month judicial custody for disobeying 1 month's maintenance. This going through the custody does not mean that his 1 month maintenance is waived off. No, that is accumulated. Those accumulate and become an arrears. Now, second thing. In today's world, when we talk about maintenance, this particular statute, that is 125, the law says, the interpretation says, the jurisprudence says that interpretation of the statute has to be done on the face of it. Today we are deprived of this thing because initially, maybe sometimes back, some court might have not followed and a backlog started accumulating, just like the arrears which are accumulated in the hands of the husband. And today, that has become a big task to clear the backlogs. The interpretation of statute has to be taken on face of it. Today, it is contradicting. It is contradicting in such a manner that interpretation of statute is not taken on the face of it, but it is completely followed on an ambiguous ground. There are a lot of ambiguities. A wife approaching to the court, the first feeling that the court has, the lawyer has, that is she is wrong and what she is asking for, that is wrong. This mentality has to be evaded. There are issues. The issues is that when husband and wife, when they get married, they become husband and wife. They live a life. That life is something that she deserves to prevail throughout her life. Once the dispute arises between husband and wife, what happens? The wife is deprived of the same lifestyle that she was having. Husband has been supported by the whole family, and as I just used the word ambiguous. Ambiguous means what happens generally? The husband, where the dispute arises, what husband does, any property and every asset that he has in his name, he transfers in the name of his family. I have my lawyer friend here. They are very closely relating to it. So they transfer it in the name of their mother, father, relative, or long distance residing sister, brother, whoever. Now, this is the problem which we are facing. Now, why I am able to say all these things? Because I myself face these problems on day-to-day basis. Why these maintenance applications are pending and the settled provision of law, that is 60 days, is not being complied with? Because there is one worry point. We have to go into roots to understand where is the problem arising from. The worry point is starting of the day of every court, which has a jurisdiction of taking care of 125 application. The starting of the day of the court is decided on the basis of a cause list. The cause list is running in the per day matters which have been listed, that is 125, 150, or apparently sometimes it is 200 plus. One judge, one mind. Every party, those who are approaching to the court, wants to be heard at length. humanly not possible. Hence, the board reaches at the most at 25, 35, or if somebody is lucky enough till 60, 70. This is where the problem is. For proposing the reform, I say first let us get into the roots. The roots are that the courts, first of all, the cause list, the daily matters are supposed to be, they are supposed to reduce it. Second, the interpretation of statute which is being embarked in it, enumerated, enshrined in it, has to be followed blindly. And if there is any person who is deprived of this thing, as on today also can move a writ petition before a high court. And if he is not getting a satisfactory result from there, he can challenge that thing in Supreme Court as well. From a lawyer's point of view, second, the domestic violence case, here we were talking about 125. The interim has to be decided within 60 days. The domestic violence case, the foundation says the whole application, the whole case is supposed to be disposed within 60 days. I have never seen any matter getting disposed in 60 days. For domestic violence, there are two approaches. One approach is, you move an approach, you either move directly to the court, or there are protection officers who are there in the police stations. The law says, reducing your grievance into writing, moving to the protection officer. The protection officer, after investigating, if finds that there is particular substance in this particular grievance, then the protection officer will move an application or his report to the court. I'll just take one more minute, madam. Just one more. So,
I just want to question, because the days are with live-in relations also.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk anything with regard to the live-in relations or only married wife?
See, live-in relation were never considered few years back. Now law has also covered that as well. Living in relation means it is as equal as living husband and wife. If you are living in the same house under the same roof, and any sort of dispute which arises, for example, there is an assault, there is an abuse, there is a taunting, yes, she can move for domestic violence. Second, 125, if she thinks because of something that she has faced, she is unable to maintain herself, yes, she can move under 125 for maintenance as well. So, living in relationship is as good as husband and wife, because both of them are consenting. It's a consensual transaction between both of them, and then they live together. So, coming back to the reformation which is required. On three aspects, reformation is required. First of all, the law which is in implementation and in enforcement today, that needs to have an addition. Many a times we have seen the parties move a grievance before the court, and that grievance has no backup. Now the backup means it has no material substance, and ultimately the court has to do a guesswork. How much should I pass a maintenance? She is saying his income is 12 lakh rupees per month. And the other side says, sir, I am getting in hand 85,000 only. How do I believe? This is an issue. So in that case, the reformation that I suggest and I advise, which is already one of the judgments passed by the apex court of the country, that let this thing be incorporated in the settled provision of law 125(1), that is, both the parties approaching to the court or defending has to give a complete disclosure of their assets and liabilities 6 months prior to the marriage. This will give a transparency and also a stability and also a forum and also foundation to the court to pass a very dignified order, and this will automatically ease out the whole problem. Second is, any person, this needs to further be added, any person who has given the assets and liabilities and has falsely or deliberately concealed or suppressed any portion or material fact, in that case, on an application made by the adverse party, there is an open case of a perjury which can be filed against them. Third thing, if perjury is filed against that particular person, then there is a provision in IPC which is 193, producing false evidence or suppressing or misleading the court. In that case, the person should be penalized according to IPC. The punishment is 3 years. So this is the foundation. We have everything. The whole thing is that it has to be interpreted and implemented in the right way. The old laws that we have and which we are trying to make it applicable today has become ambiguous, because the ambiguity has taken a front step, and based upon that, the apex courts of the state and the apex courts of the country are forced to pass an order upon it, which becomes a subsequent law apart from the settled provision of law. So my suggestion, I just elaborated that let both the parties give a disclosure so that the court does not have to do a guesswork. Second is, any person who has falsely approached the court or suppressed or concealed anything, that person should be prosecuted in a form of perjury. Third is that a penal section may be applicable on this thing. Let the person suffer custody. If you can play mischief with the justice, judiciary, then in that case you are committing a further crime, and that too intentionally. So this is my suggestion, which is required as a reformation. Further, the learned MPs have made a very beautiful proposal. I've been listening to each and everything, and today I say that we are blessed. How we go to a mandir and we think, how do we connect to a God? So we talk to pundits and somebody. Here we want a reformation in law, and we have honorable MPs over here. We heard them. They have taken a beautiful interest in the subject. We are blessed that tomorrow at least some movement can be done. And in an affirmation, today we had 3 MPs. Tomorrow we can have more than 100. And this law can come into implementation for a betterment in the society, where, again I repeat, Article 21 should be labelled and should be defined in a golden words outside each and every court. So this is my suggestion, and I took a little more time.
Because he has taken all the way, and also instead of being on and off when he is not well also. Can you suggest us? Can you suggest us? Can you come to virtual meetings? And he is taking all the pressure from us and also helping us in framing these amendments, what is a suitable thing and all those things. Now I request all the panelists to take our small gesture. It is not a felicitation. It is like taking your time and coming to us, and also it's an honor to all the sisters and daughters of India. I request Rashmi to do the felicitation and Mona also to come on to the dais. Now I request Rashmi to felicitate H. Srinivasan, popularly known to us as Mandali. We have a producer organization promoting the women producers. So this is a vegetable dye print from the hands of the woman, and this is another Kondapalli toys made by the women and men of Kondapalli, which is from MP Sir's constituency, Vijayawada.
Thank you.
Slogan. Now I request Rashmi and Mona to come on to the dais and felicitate Chakrapani garu.
Yes, sir.
Mona is standing.
Sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I request Gunjan to come on and the dais and give the vote of thanks. I request Keswin Srinivas Garu to give a certificate of appreciation for our young MC who is doing her Masters in Delhi School of Economics. This is the time where we have to make the next generation to come on together.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
Just 1 minute, vote of thanks and sit.
So, dear esteemed guests and wonderful audience, on behalf of Vasavya Mahila Mandali and Womennovators, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude for your participation in today's event on women's empowerment. Your presence made this event a huge success and we are truly grateful for your contributions. I want to extend a special thanks to our advisor, Archana Mittal, for sharing her expertise on organization and maintenance laws. Her insights were invaluable and we appreciate her time and dedication in making this event informative and insightful. We also want to express our appreciation to Dr. B. Kirti, our president, for moderating the panel discussion and sharing her opening remarks. Her commitment to empowering women is truly inspiring and her leadership was instrumental in making this event a success. A big thank you to our guest speaker, Tripti Singhal Somani, for her inspiring talk on breaking the barriers to women's empowerment. Tripti Singhal Somani is a distinguished entrepreneur and founder of KGS Advisors, known for providing financial and strategic advice to businesses. She is a strong advocate for women's empowerment and is a founder of the Women's Entrepreneur and Empowerment Foundation. Tripti is a sought-after speaker, published author, and has received numerous accolades for her contribution to promoting women's entrepreneurship and empowerment. Her words are truly motivational and her focus on education, awareness and training for the women was enlightening. We believe her vision for creating supportive network for women and establishing a platform for sharing experiences will have a significant impact on women's empowerment. In fact, we would like to, participate in these events in all the states where you go. So that's from my Tripti Singhal Somani. So to our esteemed panelists, Mr. A. Raja, Dr. Fauzia Khan, Mr. Gaurav Gogoi, Dr. D. Chakrapani, Mr. Sharvan K Giri, and Mr. Kesinini Srinivas, we want to extend our sincere thanks for sharing your expertise and experiences with us. Your unique perspectives added an extra dimension to the discussion, and your contributions were truly invaluable. We are privileged to have such a distinguished guest, including a former Union Minister, Member of Parliament from different states, a retired a IAS officer and an advocate from Bombay High Court, and a Lok Sabha MP from Vijayawada on our panel. Your dedication to serving the people of India and promoting democratic values is truly admirable, and your work serves as an inspiration to many. Lastly, we want to thank all our attendees for taking the time to join us. Your presence and commitment to the cause of women's empowerment made this event a success, and we hope that you found it informative and inspiring. In conclusion, we want to express our gratitude to all of you once again for being a part of this special event. Your contributions were integral to the success of this discussion, and we are confident that the insights shared will have lasting impact on all attendees. Your commitment to democracy and public service is a shining example of what can be achieved when we work together towards a common goal. We look forward to seeing you again soon and wish you all the best in your endeavors. Thank you again for your participation, and we hope to see you soon.